Good morning and welcome to my podcast. My name is Ella and I am a domestic violence survivor. In this podcast, I will be talking to you about healing, strength, and recovering from domestic violence. Today's podcast is going to be about acceptance. What is acceptance? Acceptance is the ability to accept yourself fully. That means accepting your strength, your weaknesses without judging or criticizing yourself. A lot of reasons why we get into unhealthy relationships is because we don't accept ourselves. We don't love ourselves. And you might say, I do love myself. But one thing I realized after being in a long-term domestic violent relationship, I couldn't possibly love myself if I was allowing certain things to be done to me. I couldn't love myself if I was allowing someone to disrespect me. I couldn't love myself if I was allowing someone to gaslight me, manipulate me, put hands on me. How could I say that I love myself if I was allowing someone to do this? When I speak about domestic violence and people ask me or they make judgments as to why did I stay so long? You know nothing about that subject unless you actually lived it. You know absolutely nothing about it unless you lived it. Some people would say, well, that's your problem. You stayed in it for over 20 years. You have no idea. You have absolutely no idea. And I hope that the ones that judge would never have to go through with any of us had to go through. And that's the only thing that I could say on that, because I can't explain to you why. You have to actually be in it to understand why, because it's not that cut and dry that you can get out of those type of relationship, especially when they have a grip on you. The manipulation and the gaslighting is something more powerful than you could ever even imagine. And it's not easy just walking away from it. For those of you guys that know, you know. And you're always going to be criticized about why you stayed. You're always going to be criticized about, the things that you has accept. Again, for me, I was 17 years old, right? I was just beginning to come into my young adult stages in life. And I had a fully grown man that took power and control over me. Remember those two words, power and control, because that's what abuse is all about. They want power and control over you. And the moment that you allow that to happen to you, you could be in it for months. You could be in it for years. You could be in it for decades. You can find yourself being in those type of relationships for decades. Thank you for the love. Appreciate it. So accepting yourself and being gentle with yourself and understanding yourself and loving yourself with your professions or just loving yourself as a whole and not criticizing yourself or judging yourself and loving you authentically for who you are. Because these type of people, they will pull you so far down that by the time you realize it, you don't even know who you are. You have totally changed. I was a very confident person before this relationship. I was a go-getter, I was someone that had ambitions, motivated, and by the time I left this individual, all of that been lost. I used to look in the mirror and said to myself, who are you? Who are you? Where is that brilliant, strong, loving, go-getter, spunky individual? Where are you? And I had to find myself again. See, when you're in relationships like this, you have to find yourself again. It's like you have to rebuild yourself from scratch. And I had to find myself. And it took me a long time to find myself. You guys need to share this. Share this to your family and your friends. Make sure that you share this live to your family and your friends. It is so very important that you share information like this, because with this information, you can save a life. It might be your daughter, your son, your mother, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin. It could be anybody, your neighbor. And when you share information like this, it would give a person an eye opener, and it would also give people hope to let them know that they're not alone, that there is such evilness out there, and they just have to be vigilant and understand what the signs of it is. It's not just in a romantic type of relationship, but your mother could be a narcissist. Your father could be a narcissist. Your children could be a narcissist. Your uncles, your aunts, your neighbor. Anyone can be a narcissist and an abuser. And that's what I want you guys to understand. Don't look at it from a perspective of it's just being let me see, hold on. Yes, he did. He tried to turn the kids against me. He definitely did. He tried to turn the kids against me. Thank you, Express Godness. He tried to turn the kids against me. He tried to make me look like the bad one. But my kids saw what was happening. He saw what was happening. They saw what was happening. They heard what was happening. My kids witnessed maybe not the physical abuse, but they witnessed the verbal abuse. They saw me very emotional all the time. Sometimes I wasn't even there with them when I was there with them because of the emotional and the psychological abuse that I was going through. So yes, he did try to turn my kids against me, but my kids knew that I was the breadwinner, and they knew that I was not the bad person. It was sometimes where me and my children would be home, right? And we'd be having a good old time. We'd be having a good old time. We'd be sitting down on the floor. We'd be playing school. We'd be doing puzzles, or we'd be reading, or just laughing, having a great time. And the moment that they heard the key and coming, him coming in the door with the key, the energy shifted. The laughter stopped. You could see the demeanor in their face. Just everything just kind of just got quiet and just got so like they didn't know what the next thing was going to be, because sometime he came in okay, sometime he came in angry, sometime he came in abusive. And he noticed it. He noticed that he heard the laughter and everything on the outside of the door, but when he came in, he noticed that everyone has stopped laughing. Everyone has stopped enjoying themselves. And he used to say something about it. What's the problem? What's wrong with y'all? I heard y'all out there. While I was out there, y'all was laughing and stuff like that. Now, what happened? Your mother told you to stop. Everything was my fault. Don't never let no one turn you against your father, not even your mother. See, he said things in a very slick way. You never put kids into mess like that. Never. Because kids doesn't understand what's really going on. My daughter has witnessed something, and I don't know if I can say it on this live, but she have witnessed something very horrific of what her dad was going to do to me or attempt to do to me, but I don't know if I can say it on live. And this can bring a lot of trauma to her. This also could make her be in the state of mind that she's in, because one of my daughters suffer from a bipolar disorder. It could come from her upbringing. It could come from the abuse that she witnessed. Another one of my daughters suffer from anxiety. All of these I'm totally aware of, that it might stem from, the stuff that they witness. My son, God bless his soul, he passed away, but he used to have anger issues. He used to have anger issues because of what he witnessed. So if you are someone that is in an abusive relationship, and I don't care what type of abusive relationship it is, leave. Leave before you get too deep into it, because them waters can be very treacherous. The more you stay, the longer you stay, the deeper that water gets. And it almost feels like you're drowning. But if it's meant for you to get out, then you get out. You understand what I'm saying? This is information that you guys need to share. Not challenges, not dances, not, you can share all these other things, but when you are given information that are critical, that can help another human being, I don't understand why people won't share it. I've been on this live now for at least about, I would say 10 minutes, if not a little bit longer, and I have not seen that share button once. I have not seen that blue arrow go across the screen once. Thank you. Whoever it is that shared this, I really appreciate it. Thank you. I really appreciate it, because this is the type of information that you guys need to share. Listen, I'm loving it. Thank you for sharing. I know that you guys are intrigued and you listening to it, but you need to share information like this, because I did not have this information when I was going through my abuse. I appreciate the shares more than you can ever even imagine. I appreciate it that you took the time out. And all it takes is for you to click one button so that someone else can have hope, so that someone else can find hope in themselves if they're in this type of situation. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys. Self-acceptance is something very hard that a lot of us struggle with. And I'm going to tell you how I know how we struggle with it. Accepting who you are. Look at the beauty of what God have created, because God don't create no mess. But people will have you to believe that something is wrong with you. And it starts from that narcissist mother that you may live with in the beginning of your childhood. That mother, that narcissist, that abusive mother or father, or anybody, any sibling, But the main ones that are supposed to love you, are the ones that sometimes abuse you the most. And that's why I said it's not just in a romantic relationship. That mother, that father abuses you. And their words. Words are very powerful. That name calling. And sometimes people don't think that it hurts, but it hurts. It hurts more than a hit, a slap, a kick, because it's internal. Because it's internal. I've been called names when I was younger. So I have a complex about some things about myself. I'm getting much better at it. Much better at it. But before, I used to always look in the mirror, and because I was basically abused with words that people that was very close to me said to me, it hurt me so much that I didn't love myself. I didn't love my features because I was told this, so I was told that, and I couldn't love myself. When you talk to your kids, talk to your children with love. Talk to your children with love. Tell them to look in the mirror and accept every inch of who they are. Tell them every day to look in the mirror and just find something that they love about themselves. Even the imperfection, because nobody is perfect. Love yourself for who you are. And that's why you have a lot of women out there, even the young generation out there, trying to recreate themselves, getting lip injections to make their lips fill up, getting breast alterations to make their breasts more perkier, getting BBLs because they haven't accepted themselves for who they are. They don't love themselves. And there's nothing wrong with enhancing yourself a little bit, putting on a little makeup if you want to wear a wig or a weave, but don't change yourself dramatically from who you are. Sometimes I look at people out there, and if you know what a person looks like, all the made up stuff is not them. I'm talking about from the crown of their head to the bottom of their feet, and you looking at them and you like, wow, looking totally different. That means they don't love themselves. So they have to put on a mask. One of the things I never did, I do wear my eyelashes here and there because I have very small eyelashes. So I have to accept the fact that I have what I have. And one day I will come around because more and more I'm beginning to love myself. And I know that a lot of you guys may see that I change up on, wearing my wigs or my weaves or whatever the case is. But right under all of this, I'm starting to love myself. I am growing locks, dreadlocks. You understand what I'm saying? Because I want to be able to take off all of this stuff and be who I am. I'm tired of covering up. I'm tired of wearing other people's hair on my head. You understand what I'm saying? I want to be able to be who I am. Thank you for sharing. I want to be able to strip down to my nudeness and be able to be who I am. Love me for everything that God has created. And there's a lot of people out there that don't love themselves because they're out there getting all of these surgeries, changing themselves from who they are, but they said they want a man. They want a real man. You're changing your features. You're changing your lips, your nose, your cheekbones, your breast, your butt. You're getting tummy tuck. You're changing your complexion, but you saying you want a real man. But you're not real. You're portraying to be someone that you're not. How many of you women out there, the men that you're seeing never saw your natural beauty? Because you're covering up, because you don't love yourself. You're afraid that if you show him who you really are, he will leave you. He don't love you. Y'all not hearing me on today. Love yourself for who you are and let people accept you for who you are. It's not about the outer beauty. It's about the inside. It's about the heart, because you have a lot of people out there that is beautiful, but when they open up their mouth, it tells a lot about their character. It tells a lot about who they are. You could be beautiful on the outside, but what about the inside? What about the heart? What about loving other people? What about giving to other people? What about being nice to other people? What about caring about someone other than yourself? That's who I want to be. That's who I want to be. That's who I want to be remembered as. That loving, giving individual. I don't want to be that person that the only time you look at it as something beautiful, oh, I'm beautiful, but I'm always talking about people, or I never help nobody, or I'm just this evil spirit inside, but I'm beautiful on the outside. I don't want to be that person. And so that's why I'm working on myself every single day, so that I can have self-acceptance from who I am. I love the beauty of the art of being able to change up my wigs and change up my hairstyle, but I want to strip down and be Ella, the person that God have created, loving my kinky hair, loving my cheekbones, loving the beautiful nose that God have given me, loving my lips, loving my forehead, loving everything. That's what I want to be. I want to be able to take all of the 100 of wigs that I got and throw them in the garbage can and just be in my natural beauty. And I'm working on it. My dreadlocks is down to here now. And one day I'm going to be comfortable enough to take all of these wigs off and love me for who I am. Take these lashes off and be okay with my little lashes that I have. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I never wore lipstick. I never wore makeup. I don't wear makeup. Because it's made up. I want to be me. And I haven't accepted myself totally yet. I haven't. And that's because I was abused. That's because that people told me and made me not love myself. And so now I have to start to love myself all over again and accept me for who I am. And forget about what these people told me, but start loving myself authentically for who I am. People are going under the knife, going to these countries and getting these BBLs and getting these breast alterations and getting these veneers, their teeth. They don't even accept their teeth. They don't even accept their teeth. They're getting these veneers and they're getting these eye things that's color. What is it? Contacts in their eyes. They're not being their authentic self. They're changing everything about them. And I'm seeing it younger and younger. I'm talking about these teenagers. They wearing these eyelashes. And I'm talking about kids that's probably like maybe about 13, 14 years old, 15 years old. They're starting to change their image from a young age because they don't have self-acceptance. because of what they see around them. They think that they're not beautiful if they're not wearing the lashes, or they're not beautiful if they're not wearing hair all the way down to their ass, or they're not beautiful if their breast is not perky, or they're not beautiful if they're not showing their attributes. You are beautiful just the way you are. I don't see the young teenagers out here like I used to see before. I don't know what I see out here. Because everybody is trying to make themselves up. And they're starting younger and younger. Where is our children? Where's our babies? We're supposed to be examples for our children. And if our children see that we have to be made up in order to look beautiful, guess what? Our children is going to be looking at us, and they're going to be watching us, and they're going to want to do the same thing. You shouldn't be 13 and 14 and 15 years old talk about put me on some lashes. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I was at my daughter's house, right? And we was putting on our lashes and stuff. And I have a grandbaby that's 6 years old. And you know what she said? And this is a true fact. You know what she said? She's seen us putting on our lashes, and she said at 6 years old, I want some lashes. They're looking and they're learning from us. She said, Grandma, you look beautiful with the lashes. Could I have some? I said, no, you are beautiful just the way you are. I said, you don't need lashes. Your lashes is beautiful. And I took the mirror and I put the mirror in her face. And I see, do you see how beautiful your lashes look? You don't need lashes. She said, but Grandma, you look beautiful with your lashes. I said, and you look beautiful with your lashes. You don't need fake lashes. 6 years old. Our children is watching us. Our children is learning from us. And if they feel like we have to beautify ourselves, guess what? They're going to want to beautify themselves. And we have to learn to teach our children to love themselves for who they are. And I told my grandbaby, I said, you don't need lashes. You are beautiful. I said, look in the mirror. And she said, yeah, I have lashes. And I said, you're beautiful. You don't need lashes. But she wanted to know why was we wearing it. And I had to explain that, because once you tell a child something, they're going to want to know more. They're very inquisitive. And I told her, I said, well, we are an adult and we wear it here, wear it here and there, but you don't need it. You're beautiful just the way you are. Because I don't want her to say when you get older, then you can wear it. Because that'll be a whole nother thing. Once we start putting these things on, it become a part of us. And we don't seem like we look beautiful without it. Once you start altering who you are, you start becoming a different person. And you can't accept who you are. You ever find somebody that can't go without wearing makeup? If they run into the store, they have to get all made up and all dolled up just to run across the street to the store. That means that they don't accept themselves. They can't let people see them without their costumes. Come on, y'all know I'm telling the truth. Y'all know that I'm telling the truth. And you have people like that. Oh, I got to get made up. I can't run and go out to the store. I gotta get myself together. Listen, if I'm going to the store, I'll put on a hat. I don't like to wear bonnets outside, but I'll put on a hat. I'll put on some slippers and a t-shirt and some spandex, and I'll run to the store. People see me naturally, and people see me whatever it is that I put on. But you have some people that cannot accept who they are. Self-acceptance involve embracing all aspects of your personality and being like okay with who you are. That's what acceptance means. Being okay with who you are. But especially when you have someone that's abusing you and start telling you the imperfection about yourself, that breaks down your self-esteem. If you have someone telling you, oh, you got big lips, oh, you have a big head, oh, you this, oh, you that, every time they say something to you, you start believing it. I used to have my ex-husband tell me about my imperfection of my belly. I had your kids, brother. And you're going to tell me I had 3 kids by you and you're going to body shame me? And I had your kids, your children. I gave life to your children. You're going to body shame me about my stretch marks? About my pudgy belly? Wow. That's the only thing I could say is, wow. And I had a complex about that for a long time. I'm wearing these wraps and I'm trying to, squeeze my belly in where I could barely breathe because he knocked down my self-esteem to an ultimate low. He had me to not even know who I was when I left him. People walking around here with these waist trainers on and they can't even breathe because they want to look perfect. Do you know when you're wearing these things, it is squeezing up your organs? But people want to walk around out there and they want to look perfect. And they're being more detrimental to their health than they could have even imagine. Instead of going to the gym, working out and doing it the healthy way, they want to take a waist trainer and squeeze their guts out and be so uncomfortable. They either doing it because of their self-esteem or they're doing it for a man. Y'all not hearing me on today. Y'all need to share this. Share this live to your family and your friends. Recognizing your strength and your weaknesses. Acceptance involves acknowledging both your positive attributes and the areas that you want to improve. And if you can't improve it, accept it. You don't need filters in your lips so that your lips become bigger. You don't need to start having surgery on your nose so that your nose can become slimmer. You don't need to start having surgeries moving bones out of your cheekbones so that it can look slimmer. You don't need to do that. Accept yourself for who you are. Look in the mirror and say, I love my lips. I love my nose. I love my cheekbones. Love every inch of your body. Because if you don't love yourself, guess what? How do you expect for someone else to love you? I had to regain to love myself for who I am. And I'm working on it. I am working so hard on it. And God's willing, if I live long enough, believe me, I'm going to accept me wholeheartedly for who I am. You have to, thank you for sharing. You have to embrace your imperfections because nobody is perfect. It means accepting that you are not perfect and that you are okay with your flaws. Because there's nobody that's out there that can't say that they don't have no flaws or they will be lying. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not accepting who you are. Forgive yourself because you allow someone to abuse you. Forgive yourself for not being self-acceptance. Includes forgiving your past mistakes and moving forward without dwelling on your past errors. That's self-acceptance. Because nobody is perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. It's about learning from your mistakes, or you're going to relive those mistakes if you haven't learned from it. It's about becoming the better version of yourself. Forget about what other people say or think. Become the best person that you can be for your self, not even your kids, not even your husband, not even your wives, not even nobody, but becoming a better version for yourself. You're not hearing me on today because you would be sharing this. There's somebody else that's ready to go into surgery today. Maybe if they see this video, they'll be like, you know what? That girl is right. I don't know her, but she's speaking facts. Let me not do that. Let me learn to accept me for who I am. And they may change their mind. That's why I always tell you guys, share, 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 because sharing is caring and knowledge is power. Share this. Practice self-compassion. Be compassionate with yourself. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding, especially during difficult times. Thank you for sharing. It is critical to have that you treat yourself with love and passion, and be patient with yourself. Thank you for sharing. Moving beyond self-criticism. Stop criticizing yourself. Stop criticizing your children. People criticize their children and don't even realize that they're damaging them. Calling them names and saying, oh, I'm just joking with you. No, you don't joke like that. Because you may be joking, but you're snipping away them kids' self-esteem every time you say something negative to them. Every time. And you may don't believe it and may not understand it, but you are chipping away their self-esteem. And you may be doing it because you have a low self-esteem. Someone maybe have said things to you. So you're bringing it into like a generational curse. That's what a generational curse is. People say generational curses, the same thing that your mother may have been doing to you, you're doing to your children. You didn't like your parents calling you names. You didn't like your siblings calling you names, but you turn around and you call your children names. How could you do that? When you didn't like what was done to you, you're turning around and doing it to the people that you say you love. That's a generational curse. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's just something being handed down from generation to generation. And then their kids if it doesn't stop, if someone doesn't stop it, it'll wind up going to the next generation. And the next generation. And the next generation. It's just like building wealth. It's just like building wealth. So what your parents didn't know about a credit score? So what your parents didn't know about saving? So what your parents didn't know about investing? You learn it so that you can be able to hand something good down to your children. That's why I'm building myself every day. That's why I sit among people that are way advanced than me, to learn from, so that way, even if I don't get a chance to be here for it, I'll give it to my children. And then that way, they'll give it to their children. And that's where you break that generational curse that everybody talks about. You could talk about it, but what are you doing about it? Are you breaking it, or are you continue letting this cycle go on? Oh, this was said to me. So that means that you say it to your kids? Oh, my parents never went to college. So that means that you don't give your children an opportunity to go to college? Come on, y'all. We got to do better than that. We got to do better than that. And the first thing is acceptance, self-acceptance. The benefits of self-acceptance is that by embracing all the parts of yourself, you can build stronger sense of self-worth. If you build your character, that means you have self-worth. That means you're not going to get in abusive relationships. That means you're not going to let people gaslight you. You're not going to let people manipulate you, because you're going to see it coming before it even hits you. And you're going to stop it right in its track. Reduce anxiety. right? Self-accepted, it reduces anxiety and depression. Self-acceptance can help you with negative emotional associated with your self-criticism, criticizing yourself and your low self-esteem. Sometimes I see people always trying to be perfect Patty up here. Perfect Patty. You're not perfect. Stop trying to be perfect. There's a lot of people that ask me, how do you sit in the camera? You don't fix this or fix that. Or I see a lot of people all the time. They trying to push back here. And they trying to make sure they sitting up right. Listen, I'm coming as I am. Accept me for who I am. If I got one lash hanging down, hey, accept me for who I am. This is me. I'm not going to come up here trying to be perfect, Patty. I am going to stumble over my words sometimes. Sometimes I lose my train of thoughts. Sometimes my shirt may be twisted. So what? I'm coming up here as me. And when you're trying to be perfect, people know that you're trying to be perfect. Be your authentic self. And that's what people love. They love authenticness. They love people to come up here and they need to know that, yeah, hey, this girl is telling about her story. Listen, no, ain't nobody perfect out there. Because a lot of people come up here with all that perfect shit. No, I'm not perfect. And I went through some shit in my life. And that's what people like to hear. They like to hear that they're not the only one that's going through stuff. People come up here always trying to be perfect. Oh, I got a car. Oh, I just bought my house. Oh, I got this. Oh, I got that. But what happened before you got all that stuff? How about sharing the story of the struggles to let people know that it wasn't always peaches and creams? How about that? Letting people know that, yes, at one point in time, I was getting food stamps. One point in time, I was on Section 8 housing. One point in time in my life, I didn't have nothing. I was living paycheck to paycheck. How about letting people know the real deal so that they can understand that life is not perfect? And that's what I do. I'm a realist. I don't have Section 8 no more. I don't get food stamps no more. But it was once a time where I needed it and I got it. So when I come up here and I talk about different things, it's not to belittle nobody. It's not to, think that I'm better than nobody, because I ain't better than nobody. Believe me. Only thing the most thing I try to do is try to set it by example. Be an example for someone. Letting them understand that if I can get out of it, so can you. It's all about your efforts and it's all about your determination. Nothing else. Nothing else. Because when you help yourself, help is going to come to you. And I'm going to tell you a story and then I got to get out of here. I remember when my husband, right, he didn't even finish high school, right? He didn't finish high school. He did get his GED, but he didn't finish high school, right? And when I met him, he was a pot washer in a restaurant, right? He was pot washing. I work in the day. He worked at night, and he was just getting odd ends, minimum wage jobs. He got injured, got on SSI, but he didn't want to stay there. So he decided that he had a passion with something that he loved doing. So he loved exterminating, right? And he have a passion about it. And me and him was dating, and he said, I would love to own my own business. So you have to speak things into existence. He said, I would love to own my own exterminating business, right? He spoke it. He didn't know it at the time, but he spoke it into existence. And he didn't have the money to pay for the classes, but I saw something in him. And I saw his passion for wanting something. So I paid for his classes. It was a couple $1,000s. I took my taxes and I gave it to him. I said, go ahead and go for your passion. Right now, my husband owns his own business exterminating. See, sometimes you just have to have that one person that believe in you. That's it. All it takes is one person. Or even if that one person don't believe in you, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. And when he went in with a positive mindset of, even though people don't know me, and he's a damn good exterminator. And I'm not just saying it because he's my husband. I'm saying it because I know his work. And he's dedicated and he does what he does. He ain't just some exterminator that goes in and give you some glue boys and spray a couple of things behind the refrigerator. No, he goes in. Okay? That means he close holes, he do this, he do that. Listen, he love what he does. And when you love what you do, that means that you're not working because you love what you do. You understand what I'm saying? And now he went into this company, right? And he said they said we have about 50 buildings, right? But we're going to try you out. My husband was very confident because he already know his work. You know, it speaks for itself. They gave him about 3 buildings. They said, we're going to see what you can do with this. Within a week's time, they was putting more and more and more buildings on him. Okay, we see your work. Take this one. Could you take that one? He started getting so much buildings that he had to start getting workers to help him out. Because his work speaks for himself. It speaks for itself. And if he can do it, someone that have a not even a high school education, you can do it. So when people say, oh, you don't know people's circumstances, listen, I wasn't always where I'm at. He wasn't always where he's at. It's about your determination and what you want for yourself. That's what it's about. Listen, guys, I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you guys, and I thank you for spending this time with me. If you found this episode helpful, please, and I do say please, make sure that you subscribe to my channel or you just leave a message. Follow me for more content like this, okay? And share this to someone that you know or someone that might need it, because your voice can help others find hope. Again, thank you for joining me on my podcast. I appreciate each and every last one of you guys that took the time out to share this. And thank you for the love. I love you guys with every ounce of my soul because I couldn't do it without you. I'm one person, but we are many. Okay? So thank you for joining me and thank you for sharing and spending your time with me. I love you and I'll talk to you soon. May God continue to bless you and keep you. And may you have all of your heart desire. You just have to believe in yourself. And self-acceptance is one of them. Peace.